Hey guys, so now before we go on to any of the other videos and the actions and operations we're going to learn in those, we're going to set up a method to access our GitHub account with SSH keys. Now, there's a good reason to do this. Oh, before I go any further, you guys need to go to GitHub and create an account in order to follow along here. It's going to be real quick, it'll be real easy, but you do need to have a GitHub account. So you may need to pause the video now and then come back. Okay, so I assume you have paused the video or done whatever and set up your account. Now, why is this important? Why do you really need to do this? Well, there's a notice from GitHub on the GitHub blog. In August, they're going to stop allowing you to use your account password, usernames and passwords when you perform any of these different actions. So you could skip this now, but it's probably better to do it this way from the outset. Also, it will add some security to your use of GitHub. So you might as well do it. So, alrighty. So now you could be down on your local development machine or up on a server, wherever, it doesn't matter. I'm on a server out in the world somewhere, in Miami actually. So let's generate our key. First, we'll generate our key, SSH. All right, we can just hit enter. We don't need a passphrase. No, we don't need that. Okay, so we want to now go cd. Okay, so we want to copy it exactly like this, and we will copy. Okay. Now, how do you get to this where I am? You come over here, you go to settings, then you come over to your SSH. All right, so we're going to add a new SSH key. Test. Oh, we'll just put Rob Stark, Miami, node, whatever. Okay, paste. We'll add it. Okay. Okay. So, I guess you guys probably will need to have created a repository first, so we're just going to do that. Let's create a repository anyways. And how do we do that? We come to this button, and we're going to click New Repository. But even before we do that, we're going to come over here. Let's do something. Let's come to repositories. And here in yours, it will probably say main. Okay. But I think it's better if you come and you create your repository default branch. They even mention it here, master. They mention that there are many workflows that require you to use master. Okay, and master is the branch that gets created by default when you use Git. Okay, so if you haven't already done that, just type in master here and update. It'll make it easier, it'll make it better in the future. Go ahead and do it. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can always change it back to main, right? All right, but let's create a private repository. New repository. Our Git test. Okay. Just testing, our description. Now we'll make it private. Okay. So only you, your friends, people on your team can access this. So create it. Okay. Now let's do this. Here's our Git test. Let's click on that. And why am I doing that? Well, where are we here? Where are we here? I want to. Yeah, let's start by creating a new file. Okay, here's our new file. Oh, we need to name it. Okay. Now, this will create it and commit it, which is what we want to do. All right. Okay, so now our Git test, it's amazing. It has one file, index.html. And there it is. You can look at our code. Let's go back to the start here. Now, what we want to do is let's test our key by cloning this private repository down into our into a directory on our server. So when you open this code, you click on this code, you want to come over to SSH, and then you want to click here, click. All right. Now you're going to come over to where you are now. Now let's go back to our user directory. Nothing in it. We're going to make a directory tester. We're going to go into tester. Okay, now here's where the magic happens. Oh, no. We need to do one other thing. Okay. Git config. Now you could put in global, but I'm not going to. Config user.email crazy at Gmail. Oh. Oh, okay, never mind. We'll do that in a minute. We'll do that in 1 minute. Okay, that's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this first. We're not in a Git directory. We could do git init, but don't do this. Don't do this yet, because I think you're going to like what I'm going to show you here. Don't do that yet. Yes, that is a way to initialize a repository, but we're not going to do that, because what we're going to do is this magic. Clone, git clone. And now we're going to paste in this. Now remember, don't paste in this one. You see how it starts with HTTP? No, go SSH, right? Then, very carefully, we're going to just put a dot. What that's going to do is it's going to download all the repository files, but it's not going to create a directory named our Git test. Otherwise it would, and it's rather inconvenient, especially for a lot of web developers or, well, at any rate. So we're going to do that. Yes. Okay, so now if we do ls, wow, look, we've got our deal. Hi from test, right? All right. So now if we do git log, okay, there's our thing. Okay. Now we do need to associate ourselves with, we need to give ourselves an identity for the purposes of all the commits we make, and when we push up our code to GitHub. Git config user email. Whoopsie. Sorry. A little bit of a typo there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to delete this account later, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. So now, let's do this. Okay, so we made some changes. Now we need to add those the way we normally would. And if you guys remember where we are there, we just took the changes we made in the working directory to that index file. We put them in the staging area by using git add and then dot. Now we're going to commit them. Okay. And what we're going to do is, well, oh yeah, we got to do that too. All right, so now how do we get those up to GitHub? We want to get those changes up to GitHub. So what we're going to do is we're going to check something. Git remote v. This is going to tell us remote repositories that are associated with this repo. When we used clone, when we used the clone command, we brought down a repository directly into our directory. And we said, take everything that's associated with that repository up at GitHub and just import wholesale all the commits, all the history, etc., into this particular repository. So let's check. And sure enough, we do have something associated with this repository already, and it's called origin. That's the default name, okay? And this origin is just, it's just a name. We can, well, that won't make sense to you. Okay, at any rate. So what we can do is we can do git, we should be able to just do git push. Yeah, okay. So now we can see that we'll see up at our repository, if we click here. Now let's look at this. Oh, some additions by Crazy. Okay, so we've done that. Now, I'm in another video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about these remotes and as well as what this means so that you understand, well, what is this? This is just a name, an arbitrary name given to this location. And okay, so we'll touch on that a little more and how to use clone and remotes a little more in another video. Oh, let's do one other thing though. Let's do one other thing. Let's come over here. Let's come over here and let's come over, let's edit this file and we're going to pull some changes down. That is great. Crazy guy. But add this in as well. Okay, now this could be another file, anything you wanted. Commit that. So we're up at GitHub. Now we're going to do this. Git pull. Okay. That is great, crazy. So there we can see that we're going back and forth with our remote repository.